Hello friends, how are you all? I hope you all are well. So today we are going to talk about the chapter agriculture. So before the starting the chapter, we need to understand about that what is the agriculture. So agriculture derived from the two Latin words that means agri means soil and culture means cultivation. So it is related to the process of the cultivation of a soil and growing of crops. So agriculture is a primary activity which produce most of the food that we consume. So here is the picture of agriculture. In agriculture, we are performing the different types of the activities. So let us start economic activities. So what is the means of the economic activities? The activities that the people do to earn their livelihood, that is known as economic activities. We can categorize the economic activities into the three types. The first that comes primary activity. So it's include all those related with the extraction of the raw material, for example agriculture, fishing, mining. So that is known as what? Primary activity. Now secondary activity, it includes all activities related to with the processing of a raw material into finished good, include all manufacturing industries. And tertiary activities, it is related to the service that support the primary and secondary activities, for example transport, trade, banking, insurance. So all these are known as tertiary activities. So once again, quick recap. Primary, it is related to the extraction of the raw material. Fishing, mining, these are the example of primary activity. Secondary activities related to the productions. Tertiary activities related to the services. Now we are going to talk about that the favorable conditions for the development of agriculture. So first condition is that agriculture is related to the growing of crops, fruits, vegetables, flower, fruits, and rearing of livestock. So hence it is a primary activity as it is related to obtaining the raw material from the nature. So favorable condition for agriculture, that is the flat terrain, fertile soil, favorable climatic conditions. So all these things are required for a favorable condition for agriculture. And the land on which agriculture is possible owing to these conditions is called an arable land. It means where we can cultivate the crops on that land, that is known as arable land. So here is a pictures of a world distribution of a arable land. So here is a picture of a world distribution of a arable land. So we can see that the maximum part of the Europe, after that in South Africa, you can see that in South America, in India, there is the maximum arable land is there. So once again, I am telling you that arable land, it means where we can cultivate the crops. Now we are going to talk about the farming process. So here is the pictures of a farming process. So there are the three process in the farming. First, input, second output, and third one is the process. So in input what we need? In input we need machineries, we need seeds, we need the different types of chemical, and in the process we need the plowing, sowing, spraying. And output, what is that? Whatever the crops is there, okay. And in there is the physical input is also there, like sunshine, temperature, rainfall, soil, slope. And human input is also involved. So storage of storage, labor, machinery, chemicals. So all these things are required for a farming process. Now here is a different terminology for a culture. So agriculture, sericulture, pisciculture, viticulture, and horticulture. So let us discuss. Agriculture, it means cultivation of crops and rearing of animals. Sericulture, rearing of silkworms. Pisciculture, it is related to the breeding of fish. Viticulture, it is related to the cultivation of grapes. And horticulture, it is also related to the growing of the fruits, flowers, and vegetables. So this is what different terminology used in the agriculture. Now we have a farming system. So physical, we need gentle slope, medium rainfall, high temperatures, and after that in human, we need a good transport, machinery, and what are the process for a farming system? That is what plowing, seeding, weeding, spraying, harvesting, and what are the output? We can see that the different crops of the crops can produce like that the wheat, straw. Now we are going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that is the farming system. Now we are going to talk about that types of the agriculture. What types of the agriculture? So here is the chart of a farming. We can say that there are basically two types of the farmings are there: subsistence farming and commercial farming. So subsistence farming can be derived into the two: intensive farming and primitive farming. Primitive farming can be also divided into the two parts, that is the shifting cultivation and nomadic herding. In our other side, there is a commercial farming, commercial green, mixed farming, plantation agricultures. So this is type of the farming. Let us discuss one by one. So first we are going to discuss about the subsistence agriculture. So here is a small story about the Ramu. He is a farmer from India. So he has only 1 hectare of land, and he is using very local and simple plow and tools for cultivation their land, and whatever productions he has done, so he consume in his family, and whatever the left they sell into the market. So that is known as what? Subsistence agriculture. It means whatever the requirement of family, they cultivate their lands for that only. So that is known as what? Subsistence agriculture. Okay. Now we are going to talk about that the intensive subsistence farming. Sometimes what happen, people producing in large amount. So aim at maximum possible productions on a limited farmland. It means in a limited farmland, their aim is maximum possible productions. So that productions can be sell to the caterers. It means they need the farmers family and local markets, and small land holding preliminary mechanization. It means very basic tools they all are using for that farming. Okay, capable of raising one crop in a year. It means they can grow different crops in a year. Practices in the thickly populated region. Okay, like Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, some parts of the Rajasthan, and basically they are producing wheat, rice, and millet. So we are going to talk about the primitive subsistence. So here's another story is related to the Hanoi. So she live in rainforest of Brazil, and she moved with his parents from place to place. We clear the land of agriculture by the slash and burn technique. We grow the potatoes and the some local crops of our family and tribes only. After sometimes we leave the land and move on. Okay, so that process is also known as the slash and burn agriculture. So what is that? The primitive subsistence agricultures is also known as a shifting cultivations or a slash and burn cultivations. In this type of farming, a patch of a land is cleared and then set on fire. This patch of land is used to sow the seeds and the grow crops. So you can see in the pictures, so they that is slash and burn agriculture. Now we are going to talk about that which continent using the slash and burn farming activities. So you can see that the some part of the South America, Africa, you can see that the some part of the Pacific Oceans areas like the above the Australia, some part of the China. Okay, so they all are also using the primitive subsistence agriculture. So it means slash and burn method. Okay, now here is the primitive subsistence farming slash and burn some features. So land is obtained by clearing the forest. It means first they clear the forest, and after that they all are doing the practices till the fertility of land is exhausted. Okay, if the fertility of land is exhausted, then they move to the another place. So practices by primitive tribes living in the forest. It means basically where they are living. They are living in the forest. So what are the reason? That is the Northeast India, Odisha, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and the part of the Madhya Pradesh, And which types of the crops they are using in the slash and burn method? That is the yam, root, and other crops. Now we are going to talk about the nomadic and pastoralists. In the nomadic, we can say that ki ghumakkad. It means they are moving here, there in search of food and shelter. And pastoralists, it means charwahe. Okay, so they all are using the livestock and herding. Okay, so some of the well-known pastoral nomad tribes in the Africa are the Masai. It is a very famous name. Berbers, Somali, Boran, and a few other. Most of these tribes raise the cattle like goat, camel, sheep, donkey, and they sell their milk, hides, milk fur, wool, etc. to earn the living. Okay, so they all are known as nomadic and pastoralism. Nomadic, it means they are moving one place to another place in search of shelter and food. And pastoralism, they are herding the different types of the animal, and for that they are moving here and there. Okay, now here is another example of nomadic peoples. Okay, so what are the nomadics? Nomadics are the group of people who keep moving in search of home. And pastoralists, it means what? They all are whose occupation is to take care of the livestock. Okay, so now come to the another areas. So here is the another story of a farmer who belongs to the USA. So we are going to talk about the commercial grain farming. So here is a Henry. He is a farmer in US, and he has 12 hectare of land, and he grew large amount of wheat and corn in their farms to sell to the companies that caters to global market. And I own many trucks, tractors, and combines that makes my work very easy. I use HYV seed. Okay, HYV, it means high yielding variety of seeds and chemical fertilizers and modern technology to help me improve my yield every year. I work more like a businessman. Okay, so commercial green farming, it is related to the large area of land where the farmer performing the agriculture activities. Okay, so that is what commercial grain farming. Okay, now here is the pictures. You can see that they are using the different types of the machineries and tools for growing the cells. Okay, so what is the commercial farming? Commercial farming, it means crop is grown for sale to return a profit. Okay, and commercial crop is typically purchased by the parties separate from the farm, and tobacco is an example of a commercial farming. Now here is a different machines used for the commercial grain farming. Now what is the mixed farming? Here is another example. It is a story of Rolling. He is a farmer in Australia, and he own a land which he grow the crops, and he has some animals also, poultry as also. So you can see that he is performing the different types of the activities. He has a land, he has a livestock, herding of animals. Okay, so after that he is selling the market different things like the milk, egg. Okay, so that types of the farming is known as what? Mixed farming. Okay, now another farm is that is the commercial farming. So in the commercial farming, here we have discussed commercial farming is for only getting the profit. Okay, more and more profit. Okay, so for example, rice is a commercial crop in Punjab, na, and Haryana, but in Odisha it is a subsistence farming. Okay, now here is the plantation. Plantation is also related to the commercial farming because here is the one a small child Swapna telling about his father. His father doing the agricultural activity in Kerala, and they have produced the banana, coconut, spice, rubber in every cashew nuts, even cashew nuts also. Okay, so this is related to what? Commercial commercial activities. Now tea plantation. So Assam is the single largest tea growing region in the world, and the low altitude, rich loamy soil conditions, ample rainfall, and unique climate help it to produce the some of the finest orthodox leaf teas. Okay, now here is the sugarcane. So Uttar Pradesh is the largest producers of a sugarcane in the India, and followed by Maharashtra and Karnataka. Now, rubber, you can see that Kerala is the largest rubber products producing state in India. Rubber is cultivated in 16 states of the India. So all these we are talking about what? Commercial farming. So here is the spice plantations is also. So Andhra Pradesh is the largest spice producing state in India. Gujarat, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Assam, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal are the other major spice producing state in India. Now, here's some spice name is there: black pepper, cloves, cinnamon plants, cardamom plants, okay, cashew nut plantations, vanilla wine. Now, what is the characteristic of these? So, commercial farming, it means it a single crop is grown over a large area, na? Planted in a neat rows and well-developed network of the transportations and communications connecting the plantations areas, processing the industries and markets together. Production in mainly for the market and not for the farmer's self-consumptions. Involve the modern input like chemical fertilizer, insecticides, and pesticides. And modern machinery is needed, labor intensive. So that is the characteristic of what? That is the characteristic of commercial farming. Okay. Now, what are the disadvantage? We can see that key exploitation as the cheap labor and leading to the slavery. Growth of the single crop make plantation very prone to disease. Poor weather and the fluctuations in the world market. Fertile soil of crops exported rather than the for yourself consumption. So okay, these are the disadvantage of commercial farming. So here is the difference between the subsistence agriculture and commercial agriculture. So you can see and you can write. Okay. So subsistence agriculture, it means less than 1 hectare area, but in the commercial agricultures we can say that the hundreds of hectares. Okay. So these are the basic differences between the subsistence agriculture and commercial agriculture. Now here is the major crops like that the rice, wheat, millets, and maize. So rice, that is the country leading producer country, that is the China, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Japan. So that is the features of the different soils and leading producing area. So wheat, we can say that USA, Canada, and Argentina, and Russia and India. Millets, India, and Nigeria, and China. Maize, North America, Brazil, China, and Canada, and India. Now cotton, you can say that the China, USA, India. Jute, jute is also known as the what? Golden fiber. Okay. So India, Bangladesh, and China. And coffee, we all know that the coffee, it is invented in the Brazil. So Brazil become a largest leading producer of the jute. Coffee, we have seen Brazil. Tea, that is also India, China, and Sri Lanka. Now, what are the agriculture development? So agriculture development refer to the effort made by the government to increase the farm production. It means how the government involved in the producing of farm productions. Okay. So the main aim of agriculture development is to meet the growing demands of the increase the population. It means day to day the our populations are increasing, so we can fulfill their demand. That's why we are focusing on the agriculture development. And you can see that it increase the crop area using the HYV seed, high yielding variety of seeds. Mechanizations of agricultural process, it means different types of the machines should be used in the agriculture, improving the irrigation facilities. Earlier we have a very less number of irrigative system, but right now we need to focus on the what? Irrigation facilities. Okay. Now food security, we all know that food security, it means if there is a shortage of the food, but every people can access to the proper nutritious food at all times, so that is known as what? Food security. Okay. So green revolutions has started by the M Swaminathan in 1960, and the major state, that is the Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP, apply the green revolutions, and they have started the food security. It means they have started to storage of food. Now, here is the difference between the agriculture practice in India and agriculture practice in USA. So you can say that huge difference between their agriculture's practices in India, that is a 1.5 hectare. Agriculture practice in USA, you can say that the 250 to 500. So these are the things, the difference between the agriculture practices in India and agriculture practices in USA. Okay, so these are the things. Now, here's some interesting fact about discover of coffee. So you can see that the coffee discovered in 1850 by Kaldi, an Arab goat herder, and here's the maize. Also, a different types of the varieties of maize are there. Now, here is the exercise for you. Horticulture, it means you need to give the answer in the comment box. Golden fibers refer to the and leading producers of coffee is known. So thank you and Jai Hind.